Hello, and welcome back to Caves of Qud. So let's address the elephant in the room. You know, you can do everything right in Qud and still die. You can do a lot of things right in Qud and still die. There's basically everything that happens in Caves of Qud is a dice roll. The generation of the dungeons, the generation of the map and the terrain, the population tables of different monsters, where they appear, when they appear, what kind of equipment they have, what kind of faction reputation they have, there's many, many variables, and those are all dice rolls being rolled all of the time. And just occasionally, you can find yourself in a situation that is more difficult than another situation. That doesn't mean that you can't get out of it if you take more optimal decisions. You can always run from a situation, just about every time. There are very few occasions when if you didn't run from it, you wouldn't have just been safe. That being said, you don't always know when to run. That is to say, sometimes you just make a bad move and you don't run, and then you die. And that's fine. I find myself getting overconfident with Qud. I feel myself getting comfortable. And when I'm getting comfortable, that's really just me having fun, because I feel like I'm at least over the slight hump of being terrified about all of my decisions all of the time. You know, if I was playing a game like The Binding of Isaac, or if I was playing a game like Slay the Spire, it wouldn't matter. My actions, my choices would not hold so much weight, because it's an hour-long game at most, and it doesn't really matter. But some of these runs and series that I've built can sometimes take 8 to 12 hours, and that's like weeks of my life in some cases, and hours of editing as well. So at a certain point, there is a breaking point of I don't wanna. I do want to beat Caves of Qud on classic mode. I do. Of course I do. But at a certain point, I have to come to terms with the fact that maybe it's just not reasonable for myself to try and learn the game via absolute brute force. And I have to make some compromises, both with you and myself and the game. If I die anywhere, canonical dungeons like Golgotha, Bethesda Susa, Rainbow Wood, anything that is required, any dungeon or place that is required to go to based on the story quests of Caves of Qud, if I die in any of those locations, the run is over. That is a fair and reasonable death. I know exactly what to expect from those locations. And eventually I will know what to expect from the Tomb of the Eaters when I actually see it. If I die anywhere else, then I am allowed to load my checkpoint, the last checkpoint that was made, and I can't ever go to that location again. So in this instance, the last time I died was in the Asphalt Mines. The Asphalt Mines is a non-canonical place. It's a non-story dungeon. Therefore, at least in this universe, I never went to the Asphalt Mines and I never died. So that means we can never go to the Asphalt Mines. That's kind of a blow. I actually really like the Asphalt Mines. It's a very, very useful place. And in a way, this addresses a lot of the exploits I've talked about previously, which is, you can't, what's stopping me from making a bunch of lava cells and then going and selling them? Well, in this case, it's because I never made that decision. And my character doesn't have that knowledge. And that kind of makes sense. And now we actually have some kind of story to root us in this world, in this character. When previously I didn't really have a lot. I don't know necessarily how to build a character or a story or a narrative for Caves of Qud, because ultimately I want to play optimally. I just am not very good at playing optimally. right? So, I say I'm not very good. I'm just not good enough. Sometimes I make mistakes. You are 100% welcome to criticize me for those mistakes and tell me where I went wrong. And I'm not saying I'm just going to go ahead and completely disregard that. But I am saying that for, my work, my effort, and I would say as far as my mental health, my enjoyment of the game, I am gonna compromise and say that I am human and I make mistakes, and I'm willing to compromise to mitigate some of those mistakes. I think that's fair. I think that's reasonable. And ultimately, what do you want as the viewer? This is what I'm gonna go ahead and presume for a moment. We found a ruin. That's nice. I'm gonna go ahead and presume for a moment that you, the viewer, really all you want, if I'm correct, is you want more Caves of Qud, and I'm happy to deliver. And at a certain point, I have to say that in order to make do more Caves of Qud series, I have to make some sacrifices. I'm gonna have to make some compromises, and that's not to say I will never play classic mode again. I think I will when maybe I have some more experience with the late game, because right now I have so much experience with the early game that it takes me 8 to 12 hours to play through a session of Qud, and then I die. And in the last instance, my most successful run of Qud, I died right before I saw, new content. And, I'm still a little bit miffed about that, to be honest. And I mean, like, that one's extra bad because was it really my fault? I'm sure, there are people who would tell me, yes, it is your fault. You died. It was your bad. You should have been more careful. You should have been paying better attention. You should have a lot of things. And now I guess what I'm saying is I'm drawing a line in the sand officially and saying, I mean, maybe I should have, but I didn't. And the thing is, I've always like kind of danced around the idea of the fact that there is an interesting meta progression when it comes to Caves of Qud, which is, of course, player knowledge. This is true for any roguelike, but it's an interesting problem. I wouldn't say problem, but it's an interesting thing in Qud because, Caves of Qud is a traditional roguelike. And we all kind of agree that it is fair, and of course it is fair, but sometimes player knowledge really bridges the gap, tells you you can say for sure, hey, I know how to defeat this monster. Okay, let me back up for a second. Let me give you a different parallel. For those who have played Dungeons and Dragons, I've brought this up before occasionally, but I think it's an interesting parallel for Caves of Qud and most tabletop role-playing games. That is another Dromad caravan. Most people know, well, I'd say some people know, who have played Dungeons and Dragons, that in order to defeat a troll, you should set them on fire. For those of you who don't know that, let me explain. Trolls have innate regenerative properties. They can regenerate. They have very good regeneration. Like they can heal while you're fighting them, and that makes them very tough. If you didn't know that, then you're gonna have a high disadvantage when you're fighting a troll. So if you've played a lot of Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, you might have an advantage knowing that. Now, the way that Dungeons and Dragons mitigates that is by saying, well, maybe you know that, but your character doesn't know that. And so, along with having the supplies required to defeating a troll, you also need to have the knowledge of how to defeat a troll, and that's where knowledge nature comes in. So along with skills like, you know, using a blade, tying a rope, you know, riding a horse, along with all of those skills in Dungeons and Dragons, there is knowledge nature, knowledge, I don't know, I can't, knowledge dungeons, knowledge, I'm trying to remember the one that, like, for unnatural creatures, basically. There's a lot of knowledge skills, and you roll those, and basically then the DM can tell you, hey, your character remembered that trolls are weak to fire, or fire is a good method for killing trolls. Now this can, you know, serve the player more than one way, because in more than one way, because you know, aside from the player's personal knowledge of the troll, you can tell them this information, like, anyway. You could like discover this on your first play session. It is a method for informing the player of how to defeat a monster, and that's, you know, things like that are good for the player to know. So what is it, how does this relate to CUD? Well, there is no real way to inform the player of certain things, and sometimes the best and unfortunate, you know, teacher in CUD is death or in misery. And sometimes I know a thing and I still die, you know? Sometimes that's just how it goes. It really sucks, but it's true. So you know, I know a lot of people are gonna, well, maybe a lot of people, some people may see all of this as being excuses for me making bad decisions. In a way, yeah. If you want to see it that way, I don't mind. Because, as I said, I need to compromise a little bit with my own stupidity. You could say it that way. I am gonna see how this goes, because maybe I want to. Oh, if that kraken dies to fire, then their corpse will burn up. I'm gonna watch how this goes down. They are taking a lot. Well, they're taking a lot of damage, but krakens have a ridiculous amount of health. But it seems like this Dawn Glider has a huge advantage, because the kraken should absolutely be able to stomp the Dawn Glider into oblivion, but they don't seem to be able to, which is interesting. So now the kraken is injured. Oh, there it is. So do I make enemies with Assault Kraken? I did 1 damage with that. I do have really good penetration with this weapon. This weapon has 15 penetration. They are coming this way now. I'm gonna run a little bit. They seem to be catching up to me. I didn't realize how fast a kraken could be. Do I have any grenades? I probably don't want to do this, huh? We could throw a poison gas grenade. We could throw a stun gas grenade. Let's do that. How did they not get stunned there? How did they not get stunned, though? Okay, I'm just gonna run. I would have liked to have taken out the kraken, but I don't think it's gonna work. They are injured. If I could, like, take them out slowly. Nah, I'm not going to do it. It's a lot of money if you can defeat a Kraken, but it's also very risky. Well, it's risky under unless you create a good situation for yourself. So anyway, to make a long story short, I think that this will be, for your benefit, I think it'll be more interesting if I just don't count deaths that are sort of like non-canonical. To mitigate that nice boon for myself, I'm going to just say that if I died somewhere, I can't go there again. Because that's honestly to stop me from being tempted to say, well, now I know how I died. I should go back there and just do things slightly differently. I could say that because, I mean, technically those are also decisions. I mean, it's not just the decision to go to that location. It's also the decision that led to my death. But I've chosen this way because it's a lot easier to just kind of like say, hey, don't go there. Don't go to that location. If I died in Asphalt Mines, then Asphalt Mines is no longer available to me. If I died in a historical site, can't go to a historical site anymore. It's at least some kind of penalty for death. Because, I mean, that's the thing that people are going to want, right? I would think you're going to want me to have some kind of penalty because, my actions and choices should have consequences. And I get that. It's not fair to say, well, I'm allowed to make stupid decisions, and therefore that one didn't count, and also that one didn't count, and also that one. No, didn't count. Hated by Svardim, loved by antelopes. Well, what kind of? You only have one copper nugget. I don't think I care enough about my reputation with antelopes. We are inspired. We could eat a meal. So, I mean, what am I trying to do this run? Well, I don't know. Personally, I'm just like doing a little bit of grinding. Our next, we need money. I guess I could do some ruin diving. I guess I might need another rule for this many world series to suggest, hey, what's stopping me from like doing a few things and then going back home and saving? It's a good point. I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to mitigate that, except that I don't tend to do that. You're just gonna have to take my word for it based on like my my habits. It's not in my nature to go to a town very often, and I don't think I'll be changing that nature. Cook from a recipe. I don't know what happened with the cloaca soup. It didn't seem to get, like, I thought I had the recipe for that. I thought I even got the achievement for it or something. Chronology, shared a ritual. In Sacred Ritual, you shared your slime with Slog of the Cloaca. So I shared slime with them. I don't know if I got, maybe I didn't have enough reputation with the mollusks to get the cloaca soup. What is my reputation with mollusks? It's good. I mean, it's actually good. That's actually really decent because that means ruin diving, I won't be prone to getting slimed by acid slugs as often. So maybe some ruin diving would be something I want to do. It's taken about this whole episode for me to kind of give you my thoughts on why should I be allowed But I mean, ultimately, it's like I think this will be more entertaining for both of us. That's really it. So, loved by tortoises, disliked by the villagers of Kakuka. Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and storm this location. I'm enjoying this weapon. I wish it was a little bit more accurate. What is going on with this guy? Oh, he took a rubber gum tonic. I think that means my arc reactor isn't going to do very much damage to him. Conk. Slam. Did not work. So I'm just going to, like, hit him. I don't know if this is actually going to give me any XP. It gave me 12 XP. Honestly, the only reason I did that was because, oh, you see a dawn glider. Where is the dawn glider? Oh, there it is. Is because this location, it has some really nice stuff in it. So I wouldn't mind gathering all of that stuff up. That's not a legendary dawn glider, is it? Oh, kudzu symbiote. Okay. Oh, nice. That was a nice shot. I'm not sure what this arc cannon counts as. So I'm not sure, like, is it a rifle? It probably is a rifle. It says it's a heavy weapon. So I don't know if what that means, like, fire 5 shots with your heavy weapon sweeping over a 90-degree cone. So maybe since it is a heavy weapon, there's no way to increase its accuracy. Maybe the accuracy is still based on my agility. When equipped, this device can be powered by your biodynamic power plant. Nice. Very high accuracy. I disagree. It's had pretty not great accuracy, to be honest. Dromad Caravan. This is the 3rd Dromad Caravan this session. Rubber suit. Weird artifacts. Solar cell. Floating glow sphere. I have one of those, right? Silver nugget. We could buy a silver nugget. I didn't look at that cobalt tube. Let's look at that cobalt tube. Sphinx salt injector. Okay, so that's good. All I need is some neutron flux, and then I can start dabbling in that black magic. I mean, like, that's a thing, right? I've often talked about this. It's almost been the theme for my entire Caves of Qud series is what counts as strategy and what counts as exploitation. You could draw the line in the sand just about anywhere, you know? I'm not just like, I swear to God, I'm not just like saying that for my own convenience, you know, my own convenience. Like, you could say, well, you should be able to sell lava. You shouldn't be able to use, you know, Sphinx salt injectors to re-roll Eater's, you know, cooking with Eater's tonic. You shouldn't be, but it's like you could remove all of the fun in Qud, all of it, by saying that that's exploitative and therefore, like, you know, what about throwing brain brine into the rainbow wood? I don't even know if that still works. I would say that, you know, Caves of Qud is very strange, and therefore some things are just odd. They're just odd, and I don't think we should shy away from the odd things. You know what I mean? I think that certainly, you know, since there are some things that are alien and that can kill us, I think we should consider taking advantage of some of the strange things that actually benefit us. Magnetized boots. Emergency services card. I noticed the emergency services card has a new tile, which is nice. Okay, we're hungry. That might mark the end of the episode. Maybe I'll so what I'm gonna recoil to Jopa. gonna save the game, and then I'm gonna head to the ruins. I don't know if there's any. Let's talk to Argive. Maybe he's got some mods. High capacity padded scaled. Scaled is nice. Kind of want scaled, to be honest. What is padded? 10% chance to prevent daze or stun effects. Doubles the chance for the wearer to shake off daze and stun effects with a shake it off skill power. Kind of nice, but I assume that's only for helmets. I have to kind of assume that. Scaled is very, very good. It's not really make or break, but I would prefer to be friends with unshelled reptiles than enemies. I am going to sell the magnetized boots. I'm sure they're fine. What do they do? -5 move speed, +4 saves. I'm not a huge fan of that. It's not hugely useful. We still want some engraved stuff. Oh, there's an engraved dagger. Okay. That's good. Geomagnetic disc. What does this do? Ions spin into a Eurodral disc on a spinning wheel crystallizer. Aquamarine smoothed into a wheel by deep sea steam vents. Is 5 penetration, 1... I assume that maybe this is a weapon we can throw and might come back to us. I might power it up just to see what it does. Let's learn some of our data disks. Okay, so geomagnetic disk. What does this do? Install cell. We have 1 cell and it's rusted. Can we repair it? We could pay Argive to repair it. 5 drams, sure. That's worth it. It is full. Install cell. So now it has... Okay. On spin, it still doesn't. It's got infinite. No, okay, that doesn't mean infinite penetration. What that means is it will match the AC of whatever it's hitting. So it's basically got scaling penetration, which is really nice, and then it does 2d6 damage. The nice thing about this is it will penetrate basically anything it hits. The bad thing, of course, is that since you can't scale its penetration value, it will always do 2d6 damage, is what I understand. Where does it want to go? I equipped it. Where did I equip it? In thrown weapon. So I am correct. I can throw this weapon. Will it come back? I don't want to throw it at someone. I just want to throw it to see what happens. So it I don't know about this one. I throw it and it can do some damage. But then that's it. It doesn't. I thought maybe it would come back to us. I don't know why I thought that. I guess I thought that because maybe that would be very convenient. But I don't know. Anyway, I hope that you will continue watching this series. I'm going to go ahead and park ourselves at a ruin, and then I'm going to end the episode. I'm going to go ahead and just make my way to the first one. Of course we're going to get lost. I always get lost. I haven't taken wayfaring hills or mountains or whatever. So I'm just always gonna get lost. This place doesn't really pose a threat to us anymore. We could check this out. You're famished, okay. I want to check out the ruin. Oh, this is a farm. That's good. We can ask the farmer maybe. Oh, there they are. You ask about your location. All right, let's continue going to the ruin. Well, there's some fresh water at the very least. For our trouble. Oh, is that a bear? That is a bear. You recognize the area and stop being lost. Good. All right. I love this arc gun. It's actually really nice. It just like it's really good in the flower fields, and honestly, it might lead me to explore the flower fields a bit more, or even the jungle, because it's the main thing it does is just like clear a ton of trees. It just clears trees. It did. I don't know why it's not doing it now. Why are we I guess I angered a honey skunk. And there's a fire snout. Okay, we don't need to be here. Okay, let's continue to the ruin. There. And that'll do it. I will do a quick explore. But that's gonna do it. Hey, let's try rebuking this guy. Let's see what happens. Argument does not compute. Okay, well, they get to die anyway. What is this? Livid Creeper. Livid Creeper is worth 500 XP. Oh, these things are kind of nasty, huh? Okay, this is not necessarily a good situation. Stunned. These things are worth 500 XP. It's worth hitting these guys. $500 XP. Okay, we're good. And I'm gonna do some ruin diving on the next episode. I will mark on our map, I guess in our journal, ruin dive 1. This is for my own benefit. If I die in ruin dive 1, then I can't go here again. That's the rule. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're new to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for joining me and having patience with me for this CUD series. Take it easy.